Peace and blessings. Namaste. To all light warriors, workers, and everything in between, it is I, Sophie, today coming to you because of this lunar eclipse and everything that's getting ready to transpire. Before we even get started, shout out Master Kokoro. Thank you for so much for being bold and brave and putting out your YouTube videos. If you have not checked it out, I am going to leave his link in the description box. He specializes in qi-gong and he has massive energy. He is the young Canadian dragon that you often hear me referencing when I'm talking about secret missions and things like that. He's right there and he's very, very powerful. Okay. He has helped me, clean and recharge my energy. So when you hear him go, yeah, and you feel it, trust me, you feel it. It's all good. So I want you to support him. He's going to he teaches you how to harness energy. And many of us who are walking around in this high level of clairsentience in our full activations, sometimes it sits in our bodies and it causes us stress and anxiety. And we have to be able to release it out. Okay, so he's going to show you how to do that, how to harness energy, okay, how to, in different techniques to move it. Master Kokoro, I am so proud of you. And we will talk and get that interview later on this week, okay? Shout out number 2. Me, myself, and I for my new dragon mug. This one says dragon power. And these, look, these dragons got their teeth out. These ones got their teeth out. They're like, yeah, it's on and popping. It's on and popping. So, that link is in the description box too. And this is our dragon power mugs. And this is for us who, we're just going to be unapologetically ourselves. And we're not going to care what people say. All right. So let's go. It's nice and refreshing. That's a tea. Okay. Now let's get to the meat of today's transmission. All right. Last night, actually the night before last, I got a whole list, okay, of things that I'm supposed to be praying for. And in regards to the ancestors, the Elohim, certain angelic classes, those who are going up through another ascension process that might be leaving one dimension to another dimension. So I'm going through the process of purification of their energy, okay, purifying their light, praying for the things about them that I was told to pray for. So last night, of course, I charged all of my crystals in the moon. And then I have my basin of water outside that is charging in the sun. And so we're going to have all of the elements involved in this eclipse, because here's where you're going to get the rut row. After this eclipse, there is no more room for complaining. And the reason why there's not going to be any more room for complaining is because you have manifested your reality. You're going to live exactly what you want. See, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Do you understand? We're not going through the process of throwing people in hell and punishing these people and punishing that people. We're not doing that. Okay? We are literally just separating wheat from tares. Therefore, whatever life or reality that you think is governing you right now, whatever those things that are going on with you, that's the reality that you co-created. So I don't care what it looks like. You better be happy. Start rejoicing. Okay? That's the best way that I can tell you. All right? So if you've manifested a reality where everything is supposed to crash and you got to wait on that to happen, good luck. Hang out there. Wait on it. Okay? Whenever it happens, not saying it's not going to happen, not going to say that it is going to happen. I'm just saying if that's your reality, then that's where you're going to be. Now, for the rest of us, if you have manifested the reality that, your earth is beautiful, your earth has transmuted, your earth is about creativity and building and moving, that is the reality that you are going to live in. Okay, so congratulations. And it's not even about, pointing one to the other, this timeline versus that timeline. Everybody should be winning. Everybody's happy. So if the case is that your reality now turns to crap, the only person that you have to blame is yourself. Okay? There have been people like myself all over, okay? The meek, the little ones, the ones that didn't have all of the followers and all the attentions, the one that wasn't all beautiful and all glamorous, the ones that didn't have all of that, okay? But came here with the spirit of truth. Okay? And we came here with the spirit of truth, and we're coming cross-culturally. Okay, I'm not just talking about in the United States. I'm talking about my gurus and sages in India, my gurus and sages in Egypt, my gurus and sages in Africa, my gurus and sages in Italy, everywhere. Okay, we came through, we told you what you needed to do, and we told you that everything was mental and how to align yourself with God and how to align yourself with Source and how to start manifesting by understanding the laws that govern this universe and how to move through them. Okay? If you don't know that, then go and visit some of my past videos. All right? I talk about a lot of things that are not being covered. Okay? The problem was there were many who were listening to me and just thought that I was making it up or I was crazy. And they went on smear campaigns and I became a targeted individual and I had, all of these gang stalkers and all of this stuff. And now they're going to sit back and watch because this was all done strategically. All right? So you hear us say the meek shall inherit the earth. Okay? And we all have different ideas of what the meek is. Some think it's the homeless people. Some think it's the indigenous people, the tribes, okay? Some people think it's the black people of America, Some people think that it's Africans, okay? But if you partner it with this other scripture, and yes, for those of you who are like, why does she quote the Bible? This is my foundation, okay? My foundation. We all come from a place of the original foundation. I study other material, though. I am universal. I do understand the 42 laws of Ma'at, or the negative confessions. I do understand Vedic principles. I do understand Buddhic principles, okay? I understand all of this, but my foundation and where I was raised was in Christianity. So I had to learn how to perfect those first. All right. See what was hidden in that first. See what was supposed to be there and what wasn't supposed to be in that first, because that was the cornerstone. I'm not going to get into that. Okay. I'm not, because I can start preaching and I'm not here to do that right now. What I'm here to do is to tell you the truth. All right. Now, the meek shall inherit the earth. Who are the meek? Remember this scripture. Those who seek to save their lives will lose it. And those who seek to lose their life will save it. Now, I'm getting ready to tie this all in together for you. And it's going to explain why there is no more complaining. There is no more complaining. You've done this. All right? Okay? Now, it might have been 2018, 2019. It could have been a little bit later on than that. I just can't remember exactly when it came out. But Netflix had a show or a small little miniseries that was called The Messiah. Okay? I don't know if you saw that, but I did. I couldn't wait for it to come out. I could not figure out where they were going to go with this one. Okay? And so people like myself, beings like myself, we pay very, very close attention to media and Hollywood and the messages that they send out. So I watched it like this. Right? I watched it just like that. And you really couldn't tell if this was a good guy, if he actually was the Messiah, or if he was false and a villain. You couldn't tell. And it was the way that he carried himself, and he was somewhat ambiguous. It could be taken one way or the other. But one of the things that I really, really, really appreciated about this show was that at one point in this show, there was helter-skelter and chaos going on. Like the wind was blowing, looked like a massive storm, maybe a tornado or something was going, and people were running all through the streets, right? And they were scared. They were seeking safety. And this Messiah character was standing on the top of the stairs, just talking, just speaking, just ministering out. Okay? While everybody was afraid, he stood firm in his power, and the wind was blowing and trash was going, and he just stood there and he spoke because he understood something that the rest of them didn't know, and that was the power of Ruach. Can quiet a storm, can quiet a sea. Spirit. Right? So he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. And what I am saying to you, the elect, those who seek to save their lives shall lose it. And those who willingly lose their life for the sake of God, for the sake of the greater good, shall gain it. It's always a win-win situation. There's nothing unfair about this situation because each and every one of us chose the path that we wanted. All right? Those days of punishment and throwing people in hells and all of that, that's been over with. Okay? Some of this information is new to you. Okay, so you're finding out new information that was written eons and eons ago in the past, and you're reading and you think it's applicable for this day. It was for edification purposes, okay? But since you learned something new, sure, go ahead and teach it. You know what I mean? Is it applicable? No. All right, but whatever. What I'm saying to you is, when we're saying that, we're not saying it in the sense of we have to die, okay? Yes, some have. All right. Yes, it was also written, there is no greater love than a man that lays down his life for his brother. Okay. Yeshua taught that. Okay. He did. And he was telling the truth. But when we're talking about seeking to save our lives, we're not talking about physical deaths. Okay. It could be part of it, but we're mainly focusing on what your idea of life is. And there are some people that feel like they have to run. There's a great pressure right now for certain individuals to run and seek refuge. You didn't know that? Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? They have an idea of what their life is supposed to be. Okay? And they are holding on to it by any means necessary. Hey, let us gather and go to this location and live life there. If you are inheriting the earth, where do you think you can go to escape the eyes of Source? The ancestors, where do you think you can go? Do you think that purging is going to be for specific locations? The temple is the body. There is no place for you to go. Okay? But there are beings that are pressuring you to go. Why? Ask yourself, why? Because in all actuality, if you really get to the root or the meat of it, that is governed in fear. And if you are governed in fear, you're not governed in the divine. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but what can this earth do for you? You're here to learn, experience, report, and change. This is not your end-all, be-all of existence. Those of us who have experienced other dimensional levels of consciousness know that this is simply a stepping stone. We master each and every last dimensional state of consciousness. And then we come back and teach it. The end goal is for everybody to ascend, but the fear-based ones are ready to run. And the reason why they're ready to run is because now they realize that some of the dates, the times, the events have not come into play yet. That's been prophesied years ago. What's the holdup? You got it all figured out. You don't need me. You don't need people of my kind. After all, we're the outcasts. Yeah, we're the meek. We're the ones that people overlooked. We're the ones that got targeted. We're the ones that have been slandered and gossiped about and set up and had magic going on against us. All of us, yes, we are the meek. You have not figured that out yet. Okay? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to hide? In the mountains? Hope it's not uprooted and thrown in the sea. You're going to go underground in the caves? Hope that it doesn't collapse. You're going to go off in an island by yourself? Hope it doesn't get flooded. In other words, there is no escape. If you are inescapist. In other words, if you are one of the ones who are under divine protection, it's not going to matter where you go, because every place that you plant your foot, you bless. That's the meaning behind we are blessed in the city, we are blessed in the fields, we are blessed coming, and we are blessed going. We don't have fear. Okay? So, again, whatever you manifested is the reality that you're going to play out. So I want you to be happy in it. You did it. We all achieved it. Yeah. So now, solar flashes, EMSs, whatever's going to happen in any of your timelines, understand that you and a certain percentage of the collective have made it so, have decided to live in it. So there should be no more complaining. If it drags on for 8 years, you better go that 8 years in gratitude. This is what you chose. If it happens next month, good. Be in gratitude. That's what you chose. Now, for the meek who gave up their lives, okay? Remember, those who willingly lose their life shall gain it. For those of us who gave up their lives, who walked away from situations, circumstances that didn't serve us, for those who went inward and did not allow other people to teach us about our own ancestors, okay? We're not getting other people's interpretation about the things that we already know, because we can deal and talk directly, okay? For those of us who were reliant on spirit, on higher self, and on source to guide us through this process, congratulations, you are in reaping season. Do not let others make you feel bad about being prosperous and happy during the season, because you already put in the work. Okay? So some of your brothers and sisters are going to be in that position of having to work to get to where you are. There's nothing that you can do about it. That's a different timeline. The only thing that you can do is pray that your brothers and sisters awaken and stop following some of these broadcast teachings. Even though you think that it's simply the media, it's social media too. Okay? I taught you that. Others, like myself, have taught you that. But we're not very popular, so we're going to be overlooked until it's time that we are looked, when the table is prepared and we're sitting in. And do you understand what it is that we have been trying to tell you for a very long time? Okay? That show, Messiah, if you have not seen it, just go ahead and watch it. And you can draw your own conclusions of the matter. I'm never here to frame the way that you think. I'm only here to force you to think. All right? And whatever conclusion you come up with, that's going to be on you. But for those of you who need tangible evidence, you will see the tangible evidence of your reality, of your timeline. Congratulations for those of you who made it and you're building. Okay? Building your channels, building your empires, your schools, your banking platforms, all of that stuff. Even if you've been sitting in infiltration, don't worry about it. You're blessed in it. You will change it from the inside out. Don't be afraid, okay? Because fear is in opposition to God. It really is. And so even those who are telling you to run is coming from a state of fear. And the reason why is because now they don't want to face the fact that all of their dates, that all of their times, that all of their prophecies were false. And those of us with the dragon breath, when we speak, it is truth. And so this is how you are definitely seeing the separation of the wheats and the tares. Did you think it had to be a physical move? No, it's a reality. There's nowhere you can go. That's all an illusion. All of it. I have told you and warned you over and over and over again about these things. Check it out. the things that you are paying attention to that have you in a state of confusion, there is no confusion and chaos when we're in with God. What does it say? God is not the author of confusion. So if you are in confusion, pay attention who you are listening to. Some of these things are so simple, a child can do it. We make it difficult on our own. Okay? You cannot let others who are not connected, who are not of your bloodline, who are not of your lineage, teach you about these things. You have direct access, you see. They're reading and trying to interpret. You're getting the knowledge one-on-one because you did the work. Congratulations, you're in your harvest season. All right? Again, don't feel bad about it. You put in the work, you've cried. You've done your share of suffering. We're giving you this on a silver platter and opening these doors for you. You must walk through it. For those of you who need some extra assistance, you know you can always email me, dragonlotusms@yahoo.com, when I go through my rituals this evening, okay? And don't be afraid of the term ritual. Only thing I'm doing is purifying energy. Purifying energy. This is my contract that I made. All right? I'm not here to hurt people, but I know that there were people who were out here to hurt me. Don't worry, I already forgave them. I already know who they are, and I've already forgiven them. So that's not why I'm in a bitter place. I'm not in a bitter place because I understand where my life is headed now. I did the work. Okay? There was something else. When we manifest, when we think about our lives, when we think about losing our lives, when we're thinking about gaining our lives, so many people have grown up suffering. Okay? You're not by yourself. I grew up suffering too. Many of us grew up suffering. Many of us did not have perfect upbringing. Many of us suffered through abandonment issues or neglecting issues. Maybe have alcohol, maybe have any type of things going on. But we had personal willpower to overcome these things. We didn't play the blame game because we understood that once we became of a certain level of maturity, we are now in charge of our own destinies. You hide behind the identity of hurt and pain because it gives you the excuse and the right to hurt other people and to blame other people. There was a reason why our enemy was called the accuser. If you've never paid attention to me, I suggest you do it now because some of this is the reason why you're stuck. All right? And what does the accuser do? I told you be careful of people that are constantly doing videos, pointing fingers at everybody else, blaming everybody else, and wanting to be wise. The enemy is called the accuser for a reason. You can't get mad at them. That's their job. And they're doing a damn good job at it. Okay? Right? They are. But what are you listening to? If you spend so much time blaming and pointing fingers and exposing other people, then you must understand the karmic laws of this universe only means it's a matter of time before you yourself are exposed. Oh, yeah, that happens too. When we say, make no mistake, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap, is a universal principle. It is a karmic law. It is designed to teach you. Okay? So the accuser who sits around and constantly taking your focus off of what it is that you need to be manifesting, doing, preparing, perfecting in your own life. Okay? Because you have to get this done with you first before you lead a whole bunch of people down the road with you. Make sure you're balanced, right? So if they keep you distracted about what everybody else is doing, you don't get to work on self. the accuser, right? People build platforms. They build images. They build prestige. They build status off of the backs of others. Yeah? This has happened in history as well, right? I'm not even talking about just spiritually. I'm talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally. I'm talking about all of those things. We've seen those happen. But we still held on to the promise because we knew about the pendulum swing. Yeah. We knew that eventually every dog has its day. And that we did not have to prove our innocence to anyone. You don't ever have to prove who you are to anybody else. Your justice and your vindication comes across in your life. Do you understand? Don't ever spend time trying to raise someone that doesn't want to be raised. Don't spend time trying to teach somebody that don't want to be taught. Don't spend time trying to save somebody that don't want to be saved. Just live your life. They'll see it. Maybe it's inspiring enough to get them to change their ways too. I point out things for your edification. I don't point out people. I point out principles. And you'll be able to see these principles in people if you know what to look for. Again, you've chosen your own timeline. Celebrate through it and be okay with it, because you can't blame anybody now. Okay? You can't blame anybody. The dragons came. They spoke all over the world. And we targeted them because it was something that they may have said that we didn't agree with. So now they're the bad guy. You don't see how psychotic and narcissistic that is? It is impossible to coexist if you feel like the only way that you can is if everybody thinks the exact same way. That's hive mind. That's groupthink. That is satanic. Yeah, it is. We targeted beings that we may have been on board with, but they said one little thing that we didn't agree with, and all of a sudden they're the enemy too. But these same people that they're targeted has done more for humanity as philanthropists than the people that are doing the accusing. We're going to see what the true separation of wheat and tares is. The reason why some of these things is being delayed, if you want me to be honest with you, and I try to hide this, but the reason why some things are being delayed is because the season is, we're in proofing season now. We are separating who the false and who the true are. And because humanity needs a sign all of the time, okay, to get on the right track, to get on the right board, then now it has to play out. This could have been very easy. We made it difficult. We forgot how to look within. We let others teach us about our own ancestry. We didn't listen to source and the divine. We watched with the eyes of the flesh, what somebody else has, what somebody didn't have, how somebody looked, how much money this person got. Congratulations. Babies, elect. It's your time to shine now. You lost your life. Be prepared to gain it. Do not feel guilty about it. The only thing you can do now is try to bring as many people to you, but you cannot descend anymore. It's been blocked off to you. Okay? So if you're in your safe bubble, it doesn't matter where you live. You're going to bring the power with you. Okay? So let them run. Because just as you bring that God power with you, they're taking their power with them. And wherever they run, as others accumulate with them, all under the same energy, Bye. Remember what happened the last time that happened, right? The hard-headed Israelites spent 40 years in the doggone wilderness and 1/3 of them died. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. What I'm saying to you is, after this eclipse, you better get your manifestations going. You better clean out what it is that you need to clean out and face your own shadow. What you have done to people, what you have allowed to be done to other people. Some of you may think that you're innocent because you didn't do it yourself, but you sat back and you watched it. You are just as guilty. You better make things right with yourself, with your own souls, and with the Creator. Targeting me is not going to get you anywhere except for more pain. Trust me. Targeting my people is not going to get you anywhere but more pain. Trust me on that too. We're protecting them. All who are subscribed to my channel, I know that they have to be elect because the things that I talk about is hard to swallow. And it's not for the weak. Do you understand? I'm not saying that I don't have trolls on there that's keeping tabs on me to try to figure out, what they're going to mimic or what they're going to try to fight against or what they these are they who have too much time on their hands because they're not moving anywhere. Okay. So yeah, they're going to be around too. But for the majority of it, the people that I'm dealing with are already vibrating on this level, and they've already fought the battles that I'm talking about, and they've already went through the shames, and they've already went through the targeting, and they've already had to overcome some things. They've already lost their lives. They're getting ready to live outside of the illusions, outside of waiting for a grand reveal, disclosure. Guess what? You're looking for something that already took place. You don't believe me? You're looking for a grand disclosure of these ships to show up and these little gray men to walk down and say, hey, we've come in peace, and the whole world to go, but throughout this entire time, people have been telling you already who they are. They've already been showing you that you're not just living amongst humans. Look at TikTok. Look at how many people that are coming through and saying, I'm the bad guy. I'm an angel. I am this. I am that. They're dressing themselves up to reflect what is going on in them. You're just looking at it as, oh, they're being creative. That's because you don't have eyes to see. The things that you are waiting for has already taken place. But the distraction and the delusion is so heavy, it's going to keep you stagnant while the rest of the world moves on. When I tell you, pay attention to the animal kingdom. Have you done it? Some of you have. Y'all sending me videos going, wow, what's happening. So I'm not going to get mad at you. Some of you really have. Okay? Have you been able to discern how the animals are starting to communicate with you and with others? Are you starting to see how people's quirks, with the things that they're like, their inner sides, okay, their species is starting to show? They're gravitating to what's going on with them naturally. So when you're seeing people that are walking around on a daily basis with elf ears, you don't have the vision to see that the disclosure has already taken place. They're already living amongst you. Light and dark, all types of species. So what are we waiting on again? Go through this eclipse in total confidence that you know what's going on. And if you don't, that's fine. Say you don't. And get the information that you need about what's going on. But don't get mad at people like myself who are bringing swords and who are bringing dragon breath. Remember that was prophesied too about the two witnesses. What manner were they able to kill their enemies? Do you remember? They said the only way that their enemies are to be destroyed is through the fire of the breath. That's not literal. That's not literal. It's what we are speaking that is destroying enemies. Okay? It is what we are bringing out that is exposing enemies. Meanwhile, we're still under our creed. We don't have to fight our battles. We just simply am. Ehe, asher, ehe. Figure out what that means. Be prepared. I am Sophie. I love you all. Bye.